Hi, I'm Bernie Hayes. Today we'll be talking about the St. Louis Black Rep Company with Brian McKinley. Today on The Bernie Hayes Show. Welcome back. I'm Bernie Hayes. My guest is Brian McKinley of the St. Louis Black Repertory Company. Brian, how are you?
I'm doing good. How are you?
You look different sitting in a chair than you do on stage.
Oh, yeah?
I always see you moving about and talking. Tell us about the St. Louis Black Repertory Company and how you became involved.
So I was in college. It was my final semester in college. And
Which college?
Western Illinois University.
Okay.
We were doing a production of Ruined, and our director was familiar with Ron, who was at Western at the time doing a workshop with the English department. Okay. And so she asked Ron if he would come and speak to our cast about the Black Rep's recent production of Ruined by Len Nottage. And he did, and he, told us all about their cool production, and he casually mentioned that he had a fellowship program here, and I was about to graduate and needed a job, so I went ahead and applied and got in, and I started as a fellow, did that for 3 years, and then became a staff member. Not only a staff member, but one of the main leading characters in some of the plays. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
How does it make you feel, Brian?
It makes me feel great. It's what I love to do, what I will always do, and I'm loving what I do here, so that's why I'm still here.
How'd you get into acting?
I started back in Peoria, Illinois. I started in community theater and high school shows. Yeah, I did a lot of musicals and small plays and stuff, and once I started, I couldn't stop.
Is there a favorite role that you've played, not only here, but any place else?
Yeah, that production of Ruined I mentioned earlier, that was one of the toughest roles I had done, one of the biggest roles I had done, and it was a really big bonding experience. It was the first Len Nottage play I had did. Yeah. There was a lot of firsts in there, and I was extremely grateful to the director and my castmates. It was a tough role if you've ever seen Ruined. It's about the Democratic Republic of the Congo and a lot of the hardships that was happening there at the time, and Len Nottage did her best with that work.
This is great. I'm so glad you came to St. Louis. Now, tell us about the Black Rep itself. What's happening now? Now, Ron Himes was the creator and former, and still runs it, more or less. I know it's his dream. So tell us about the Black Rep and your involvement.
Yeah, so like I said before, I started as an acting fellow and then became a staff member after 3 years. And so when I came, we were in season 41. So now we are rounding out the finish of season 46. Wow. So the Black Rep has been around for quite a while, as you know.
Yeah, the Miracle on 23rd Street.
And so we've been doing plays by predominantly African American or African diaspora playwrights for the last 46 years. And so it's a great legacy to be a part of and to see all the programs growing.
What's running right now currently at the Black Rep?
Currently, we're doing Skeleton Crew by Dominique Morisseau, which I actually have the privilege of being in as well.
That show has gotten a lot of great reviews. What do you think is the appeal to the critics and those who see it? I mean, even everybody who just attended come out raving about it.
Yeah, part of it, I think, is Dominique's ability to really capture the people of Detroit. And so she's a really great playwright. And the way she uses language is very powerful. She was inspired by August Wilson. But I think a big draw with the play is people's ability to connect with those people in the factories. It deals a lot with like union work and union workers going on strike and being given bad deals. And so I think a lot of people really connect with that. They either, have experience with the union or they know people who have had experiences with the union, like a parent, or they know about siblings or family members who had to strike and who went through those hardships.
Yeah. Now, what part are you playing in there?
I play Reggie. He is someone who started as a factory worker but got promoted into a supervisory position. And so he has a lot of difficult decisions to make, and he's like sort of torn between two worlds because he knows one side of it as well as the other side with management.
Mm-hmm. Now, how long does it take you in order to prepare for a role like that? How long did it take you?
So we usually rehearse about 3 weeks, and then we have a technical process, and then we invite audiences for previews. Mm-hmm. So,
what's the next production coming?
The next production is the musical review UB, featuring the music of UB Blake.
Mm-hmm.
So
when is that?
That is May 3rd through the 21st.
May 3rd to 21st. Are tickets on sale now?
Yes, tickets are on sale now at theblackrep.org or call in the box office.
Tell us, what's the box office number?
It is 314-534-3810.
Okay. Is there a website also?
Absolutely, yep. Theblackrep.org.
Wow, okay. This is great. Brian McKinley is my guest. Brian, tell us how we can help and support the Black Repertory Company.
So you can go to theblackrep.org. There's a bunch of different ways you can get involved and be a part of it. There is links to all of what I'm about to talk about. You can come and volunteer to support us as well as donate. And there's also information about that on the website as well.
When you were in college and you met Ron Himes, what did you know of the St. Louis Black Repertory Company at that time?
Not a lot, actually.
Mm-hmm.
Which is part of the reason why I came here. I didn't know that the Black Rep existed. I didn't know about Ron Himes. Mm-hmm. When our director told us about him, I was like, "Oh, cool! You know, this Black theater artist. This is great. I'm ready to hear and learn more." And Ron got to talk, and I was like, "Oh, okay." And I didn't know there was like theater in St. Louis. Really, like St. Louis wasn't on my radar at all. But I did a little research, and I was like, "Oh, this is a big deal. I got to get down here."
And tell us about your graduation, your advancement through the Black Repertory Company.
Yeah, so as I said before, I started as an acting fellow. Mm-hmm. And as an acting fellow, you sort of work in like all the different departments. Sure. So I was helping with the gala. I was doing a lot of work with the touring shows. I was teaching workshops, as well as, being in main stage plays. And so doing all of that for 3 years really prepared me to transition into a staff position as Ron's assistant. And so that's been great. Not only like working directly under Ron and being mentored by him, but also seeing all of the education and community programs grow.
Okay. Are you involved in the set decorations and set designs and so forth?
Not as much as I was when I was a fellow. Mm-hmm. But yeah, we a lot of the fellowship company helps with building costumes, constructing the set and the scenery, building up props, sound design, lighting design. It's really truly a company of people.
How long does it take to prepare for a play? Say the upcoming play that's coming. How long does it take to prepare for that? The set designs and costumes and so forth.
Yeah, all those. So plays typically rehearse 3 to 4 weeks. The set and costumes are built in about the same time. The designers usually design the show like months in advance. So they have to get their designs to the people that are building it, like our costume shop supervisor and our lead carpenter, so that they can purchase all the things that they need to construct everything.
Brian McKinley is my guest. Brian, how do you like St. Louis?
I love it. Like I said, I didn't know there was so much theater here, so many arts. It's such a diverse city. And I really fell in love with it. I was a little confused at first because I was like, I didn't know the difference between like St. Louis City and St. Louis County and what all that meant. But yeah, I really fell in love with it.
This is really great. Okay. Brian McKinley is my guest, and he's the assistant to Ron Himes at the St. Louis Black Repertory Company, and he's also a director and an actor. And it's so nice to have him here with us. We're at the New Life Evangelistic Center, 2428 Woodson Road in Overland, Missouri. And Reverend Larry Rice has been helping those in need for more than 51 years. And we'll be back with our guest, Brian McKinley, after this.
Will you help New Life Evangelistic Center get back into 1411 Locust Street? Your tax-deductible gifts are urgently needed at this particular time, and there's many different ways that we're working to get back in that facility. One of the ways is to continue to inform the community through the Bernie Hayes Show and other programs. And if you haven't supported the Bernie Hayes Show and the Work of New Life Evangelistic Center, please do it now. It's urgently needed. Your gifts are deeply appreciated. So many homeless people are waiting to get back into 1411 Locust, and so many others need the direct help that New Life is trying to provide at this time, but is facing some real financial needs. And that's why your gift is very, very important. And to express our thankfulness for all of you that are sharing your gifts, we want to send you this special Bernie Hayes cup. It's my wife's favorite drinking cup. She loves to drink out of this cup, and this is actually the only coffee cup she wants to use is the Bernie Hayes cup. There's something very special about this cup, and we'll send it to each one of you that share a gift of $25 or more with the New Life Evangelistic Center and ask for your Bernie Hayes cup. It's P.O. Box 473, St. Louis, Missouri, that's 63166. Your gift will not only help us get back into the 1411 Locust building, but will help our first responders that are on the streets, the first responders that we have out there day after day, night after night. It will help keep our women and children in our safe houses, continue to keep our training programs open, our worldwide mission work, whether it's in India, Haiti, Africa, so many different things the New Life Evangelistic Center is doing. In addition to NLEC TV, tell your family and friends about it. Put it on your phone. Put on your, get that phone app on all your friends' phones so that they can all see the Bernie Hayes Show or go to 24.2. It's your prayers and gifts that make all of this possible. I thank God for those of you who continue to pray for the reopening of 1411 Locust and the work of New Life Evangelistic Center. There's so many obstacles we're facing as we try to help the homeless, but we're going to continue to give it to God. We're going to continue to pray. We're going to continue to work, but we need you to partner with us. So again, it's New Life Evangelistic Center, P.O. Box 473, St. Louis, Missouri, that's 63166. I thank God for each one of you that are praying, caring, and sharing.
Thank you.
Welcome back. I'm Bernie Hayes. My guest is Brian McKinley from the St. Louis Black Repertory Company. Brian's currently in a show, and Brian, what's the next act? You said the play is coming, and when is it?
UB.
UB Blake, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep, it opens in May 3rd and goes through the 21st.
Will you be in that also?
I will not be in that.
Okay, you'll be directing?
Absolutely. Well, I'll be working front of house and stuff and managing, sort of a company manager behind the scenes with that one.
Okay, producing director Bob Dimley asked a question. Do you use the same actors for each play or what? How do you
No, they're different actors.
You recruit?
Yeah, so we have auditions every season. Mm-hmm. We either have big unified auditions over the summer, or we have auditions throughout the season for each show.
Mm-hmm. And also there's a touring company. Tell us about this St. Louis Black Repertory Touring Company.
Absolutely. So we take TYA shows, or Theater for Young Audience shows, into the area schools and community centers in the Metro St. Louis area, as well as over in Illinois. And those shows reinforce morals and teach a lot about Black history, which doesn't get taught enough in schools. Mm-hmm. And so it's really a point of pride that I talk about this, because being a part of that company in the past, you really see the difference it makes in students' lives and how much they learn with the study guide we provide as well. And so this year we have 3 shows that go into the schools, a K through 5 show.
What does that do? The name of it?
It's called Turn Up. It's a new show that we commissioned by 2 Black rep artists, and it's about this community garden that is failing, and this man who's trying to keep it together, and with the help of the community, he's able to eventually.
Vegetable garden?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Inspired by George Washington Carver.
Yeah,
of course.
And what are the other 2?
The other 2 is they're also newer shows. One called Plan B3. And it's about a girl who is passionate about the planet, and she decides to do a protest. But she and her friends are part of this singing group, and our teacher tells her you cannot protest and be in the talent show. Okay. And so she has to make a difficult choice, and her grandfather helps her by explaining to her that her family has a long history with protest. Okay. And so there's a connection to civil rights to today with her current activism. Yeah.
Civil disobedience.
Yes.
What's the third one?
The third one is a brand new show called The Adventures of Frankie Muse Freeman. Mm. And so it chronicles the life of the legend Frankie Muse Freeman.
Late attorney. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So students can learn all about that.
Maybe the educational community might want some of these touring shows to come to their facility. How would they do that?
So they can go to our website, theblackrep.org. There's information about them there, as well as a sheet that they can fill out and send to us about what show they're interested in, when they'd like us to come. And
are there announcements of what shows that are available to them in the education community?
Yep, it's right there on the website.
Okay, so it's on the website. Okay, that's great. Tell us about you, Brian McKinley. Tell us about your growing up and becoming interested in acting.
Yeah, so I was born and raised in Peoria, Illinois. Right in the middle of Illinois.
You and Richard Pryor together, right?
Yeah. And so, growing up, I was always interested in acting, but I was a really shy kid, which is like an oxymoron for like a kid who was so shy wanting to be an actor, but that was me. And I eventually got involved in community theater. I mustered up the courage to go to an audition finally. And I started doing community theater and high school theater, and I continued to do it throughout college. And I decided at one point, I was studying biology actually. Oh, wow. And I was
cutting a frog.
Yeah. And I was just debating if I wanted to go back to school to study theater or if I wanted to, continue with biology. And one of my best friends sat me down and was like, hey, I don't want to sway you one way or the other, but I've never seen you more happy than when you've been performing on stage.
That's wonderful. What would you say to persons watching us now if they want to get into theater?
They want to get
become an actor, but there's also other things behind the scene, like directing and set decorations. Tell us about that.
Yeah,
and how
absolutely.
would one be recruited?
Yeah.
And how would one get involved?
Yeah, so there are so many ways to get involved in the theater, so many different ways. There's front of house, back of house, and on stage. And so the easiest way is to become a volunteer, to usher, and you can see the show for free. And that's one of the many jobs front of house. We have box office associates, people who sell merchandise and concessions, and our front of house manager. And then back behind the scene, you obviously have a director and actor, which people, usually know about. But there's all sorts of technical and design elements to a show that are just as important. There's scenic design, designing what people see on the stage. There's lighting design, which sets the mood of the show and can, do different things like tell the time of day that people don't realize goes into, producing a play. There's obviously costume design. And with all of these things, there is the construction part of those things, right? People have to build those costumes and build those sets. So a lot of carpentry and sewing and so on and so forth. And so people don't realize all these different jobs are also skilled workers in the theater. Okay.
And if one was aspiring to become an actor, say what you're doing, participate in the plays, how would they go about that?
I would say the best way to start is by seeing theater, showing up and seeing theater, watching it. And then step 2 would be taking a class. We offer classes from time to time, workshops and residencies a lot of the times as well.
Is the community supporting the Black Rep like it should?
I think so. We could always use more support though, but it's great to hear how beloved the Black Rep is and how much of a gem it is from people in the community.
Okay. How do you interact with the people? When people find out that Brian McKinley is an associate with the Black Repertory Company and he's an actor, and sometimes he's a director, what do they say to you? And how do you feel about that?
So oftentimes the first thing they say is oh, you work at the Black Rep? Oh, I was there from the start, the Miracle on 23rd Street, or oh my gosh, I missed when they were down in Grand Center. And then, or they'll say, oh, I loved you in that play you did last season about the, the unions and stuff. Or, oh my gosh, they always have a specific role that they associate me with. And how much they appreciated it and loved the Black theater. And so it always warms my heart a lot to hear that I'm doing what I set out to do, and that's like change people through the magic of theater.
And what's your personal goal?
My personal goals, to continue to act and sustain myself by acting, and to be as diverse of a theater artist that I can be. And like I said, to change the world through the power of theater.
How difficult is it, Brian, to get a script, and how often do you have to study it and read it and become the expert with it?
Like a lot, right? Like a lot. So
run us through that.
So oftentimes repetition is your friend, and muscle memory, and just going over your lines as often as you can. And people memorize in different ways, but
Sure.
That usually works for me. Like repetition and embodied emotion, right?
Okay.
So going through the lines and not just like going through them, but knowing why you're saying what you're saying, because usually it makes sense.
Okay. Brian McKinley from the St. Louis Black Repertory Company is my guest today, and we're here through the Life Evangelistic Center, and we'll be right back and wrap it up after this.
These are very difficult times, and so many people are giving up. I want you to experience hope in the midst of God's cathedral of creation. And that's why I have a free book that I want to send you. It said hope can begin to flow in your life, and you'll be encouraged to go out in the middle of creation and hear the birds and the trees and all of creation speak hope to you. Now, I'll send this to you absolutely free of charge. All you have to do is just write me Larry Rice at P.O. Box 473, St. Louis, Missouri. That's 63166. Or you can call 314-421-302 and request your free copy of Experiencing Hope in God's Creation. We need hope right now. And hope is just right there, ready to fill you. You may be in a dark, dirty, lonely place at this moment. I have a whole chapter on that, how seeds are planted there and how they sprout. That and much more, right here. Just write me at P.O. Box 473, St. Louis, Missouri. That's 63166, and receive your free copy.
Today's Black History subject is actor James Earl Jones. He was born in Occoquan, Mississippi on January 17, 1931. He went on to star in a long list of successful movies and plays, becoming widely known as the voice of Darth Vader in the Star Wars film franchise. James Earl Jones made his Broadway debut in the 1950s in the play Sunrise at Campobello, and for several years he took on a variety of roles for stage, television, and film. Jones appeared in numerous Broadway productions during the 1970s and 1980s. He had starring roles in such productions as the 1974 revival of John Steinbeck's Of Mice and Men and the 1978 two-man show Paul Robeson. Jones won Tony Awards for his performances in The Great White Hope and Fences, and garnered an honorary Academy Award in 2011. He also is a two-time Emmy Award winner. James Earl Jones.
God's power is at work today. The purpose of God's power is to transform us into sons and daughters of God, daughters and of light that walk around and point back to Christ. When Jesus displayed the ultimate power over sin and death, He invited us into a deep relationship with God. That's the gospel message. You can be the change in the world around you today by loving others well. Accept the power of God in your life. Accept the miracles that He is giving you. Accept the abundance, the trials, the hardships, all of it, and use it to fuel the good works that God has set before you. God's power is at work today. You have the power to be the light in the darkness around you. Accept it. Give God the glory for it. Change.
Welcome back. I'm Bernie Hayes, and Brian McKinley from the St. Louis Black Repertory Company is my guest. Brian, what are the cues that you get on stage when you're acting? I hear stage left and stage right. What does all that mean? And if you forget a line, what happens?
So the different areas of the stage is, so basically when you're facing the audience, your left or right is stage right or left.
Okay.
And theaters used to be raked at an angle. And so when they say downstage, it would literally mean you're coming downwards. Okay. And when they say upstage, it means you were going up. So that's where that comes from. So when they say downstage, you come towards the audience, upstage away. And then what was the second question?
Well, I'll ask about the fierce competition too, but how do you prepare? And what direction do you get from the director? And how, if you lose a line, forget your line, what happens?
Oh, yes. So often, every director is different. They work with you in various different ways, but being
you can't stop and say line. Well,
right. There's a certain point where you can't say line anymore, and so typically you're working with like an ensemble who's there to support you and will like have your back, but you usually got to like sort of figure it out. There's no like, and ideally the audience never knows that you forgot a line.
So, in other words, you keep acting through that act.
Exactly.
So you act like you know what you're doing.
Exactly.
This is great. Do you usually have a partner that you rehearse with, or do you do mostly on your own?
Depends on the show. On the show. There are one-person shows out there. I've actually done one myself. And, in that case, you're like, it's all you. Yeah. And you usually know the story well enough that even if you forget it, you like know what you were talking about and can get right back on track. But yeah, you usually have like a scene partner or multiple partners on stage with you.
Okay, now what are the new acts coming? What are the new shows coming, and how can we interact and get tickets and so forth? So and get information also.
Yeah, so we'll be announcing season 47 pretty soon. Within the next month, I believe. So be on the lookout for that. You can find that on our website at theblackrep.org.
Okay. Can you name some of the actors who are in this particular play that's running now?
That's running right now?
Yeah.
So Skeleton Crew features myself, Velma Austin, who was also in Death of a Salesman back in January, if you saw that. It features Olajuwon Davis, who was in our season opener, The African Company Presents Richard III. And Carmia Imani, who is one of our acting fellows, who was also in Death of a Salesman as well.
Okay. How would you rate Ron Himes?
How would I rate Ron Himes?
How would you rate Ron? Right here in front of everybody.
And it's being recorded.
That's right.
Honestly, Ron Himes is, in a league of his own. I don't think there's anyone doing the work that he's doing right now. And I just said this like last week. His mind is amazing. He has such a vision, and I'm so grateful to be here and be working under him to see, the magic happen.
And if we would ask Ron Himes how would he rate Brian McKinley, what do you think he would say?
I hope he would say good things, because I work hard to, make him proud and to continue his legacy.
Okay. Now, once again, how can we get information about the Black Rep? How can we support the Black Rep? Give us the numbers, the website, and everything else.
Of course. So for tickets or more information, you can call us at 314-534-3810, or you can go online to theblackrep.org, where you can find information on how to support, donate, and get tickets as well.
I understand that you have a new home now.
Yes, we do.
Tell us about it.
We recently moved, so we are no longer on our Olive location. We are now located on 813 Skinker Boulevard. It's right next to St. Louis Lighting Antique.
And very close to Del Mar, right?
Yes, very close to Del Mar.
Okay. So what's the former location and what's the new location?
So the former location is 6662 Olive Boulevard. So we're no longer there. We're right around the corner on 813 North Skinker Boulevard.
Are you enjoying the new location?
Yeah. It's a little different. It took some getting used to, but we finally started to settle in our new space.
We have 2 more seconds, but can people come and visit the new location at Houston?
Absolutely. Yep. There's a sign right out front, so come visit anytime.
813 North Skinker.
Yep.
Thank you so much, Brian McKinley.
Of course, thank you.
It's always good to see you, man.
You as well.
And thank each and every one of you for supporting us at the New Life Evangelistic Center. We're 2428 Woodson Road in Overland, Missouri. Our zip code is 63114. I'm Bernie Hayes. Have a good day. Take care of yourself, and please take care of others. Have a good day.